Alright, this is 2.2, number 18, calculator part 3, continued again. This time we're going to take the frequencies and we're going to create a cumulative frequency, and then I'm going to graph it so you can see what the graph looks like. So we left off looking at the frequency polygon laid on top of the histogram. I'm going to go to the home screen by pressing second quit. That's always how you get back to the home screen. I'm now going to use a command called cum_sum, that's short for cumulative sum, to get my cumulative frequency. So I'm going to go to second list. So second stat brings up my list commands. I'm going to go tab over to operations, and you see number 6 down here? Number 6, cum_sum, cumulative sum, is the command I want to use. So I'm going to be adding up, summing my frequencies. So my frequencies were stored in L3, so second L3, to recall, bring up L3, and I'm going to store these because I want to use it into L4. Alright, so cum_sum of your frequencies, store it to a new list. Hit enter. And now I have the cumulative sum from what I have. This is different than the textbook. I prefer using this way as opposed to starting your first class with a sum of 0. I like to add it up as we have it, and it matches the command on the calculator. Again, this is just going to shift your things over a little bit. So you notice we started with the first one, and if I go to the end of the list, that's our total sum, which is useful information as opposed to starting with 0 and ending at the second to last one, 39. Just my preference. I do it a little differently than the book. So now I'm going to graph this. So I'm going to go into stat plot again. I'm leaving everything else on. I'm going to my third plot. I'm going to turn it on. It's going to be a connected dot plot, so I leave that the same. L2 is still my classes, but now my X list is going to be my cumulative frequency, which we stored to L4. Take it off of alpha, hit second, hit number 4 to bring up L4. I'm going to use a different dot. I'm going to use the cross right here so it shows up differently. I'm now going to press graph, and you'll notice I don't see much of a difference. What I do have is this thing shooting up right there. What this means is, and it makes sense that my cumulative sum, I can't see it. So I'm going to have to change my Y maximum again to increase it up. So I'm going to go to Window. I'm going to go down to Y max. I know that 40 was my max because I looked at it. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger so the graph looks pretty. So I'm going to make it 42 for no other reason that it's 2 above wherever the graph stops. Hit graph, and now I have all 3 of the graphs. I have my histogram, I have my frequency, and I have my cumulative sum. Now, if you need to do a relative frequency or a relative cumulative sum, or relative cumulative frequency, just divide your sets by 40, because that's the maximum, so divide by the total number, and that'll give you your percentage. You can kind of replace relative with percentage, and that's all we're doing there. But what I wanted to point out is the graphs will look exactly the same. You're just changing the scale from going from 0 to 40 to going from 0 to 1. But that shape of the cumulative and the shape of the frequency polygon will match. I hope this helped you guys out.